Hey guys, Eve here. So family, today the video that I'm about to do is a video that I titled, it's going to be about the children of Israel, the true children of Israel, and how they were chosen, or I'm going to give you guys info on how you guys can know who the true children of Israel is. So let's go. Try to figure this thing out. I'm doing this live. I ain't never did live before, so I'm trying to keep seeing what it's all about. We're setting home. So you know you're live. Okay. So, family, today I'm going to start with Genesis chapter 10 and 25. And it says, well, let's say 10:21. It says, unto Shem, also the father of all the children of Eber, the brother of Japheth, the elder, even to him were children born. 22 says, the children of Shem, Elam, Ashur, Arphaxad, and Lud, and Aram. So, family, I'm trying to give you guys an idea of what's going on today with the children of Israel. I know we think those people over there in Israel, the country Israel, is the true children of Israel, which they're not. We've been told for years and generations and time after time that those are the true children of Israel, and we know for a fact that they're not. But today I'm going to show you, I'm going to try to do a breakdown of who they are and why things are going on in that country today, and what's happening with the true children of Israel and how God has chosen them, and how he's working right now, that all the things that's happening in the earth is on account of the true children of Israel. So I read to you guys Genesis chapter 10:21 through 22, and it tells you that Shem, it said unto Shem, even children were born. And Genesis 10:25 says, to Eber were born two sons. The name of Eber was one of the sons of Shem. And it says in Genesis 10:25, it says, to Eber were born two sons. The name of one was Peleg, for in the day of Peleg the earth was divided. This verse is linked to the division and the scattering of the people, and it also has to do with the Tower of Babel in chapter 11. So when it talks about the children, people being scattered, and I say how it's connected to the Tower of Babel in chapter 11, the Tower of Babel is also connected to September 11 that happened in the world, and they say it was 2001, which it was actually 2000, the year 2000. And I'm gonna do a breakdown to show you guys that that is so. So where I say the Tower of Babel is connected to the World Trade Center, that and the collapse of the World Trade Center, and the Twin Towers in New York on September 11, 2001. How they're connected is through the scattering of the people, or the language. God says in the book of Genesis, when he talks about when the people built the Tower of Babel, they built it up to heaven to reach him, and he came down and he saw what they were doing, and he was displeased with it. So what he did was he confounded their languages. I mean, he scattered them to the lands of their languages. That's when he scattered all people, and he changed the languages of, because before he changed the language, everybody was speaking one language. And then when they went to try to build the Tower of Babel, God, he confounded their languages. I mean, he changed all their languages, and then he created the lands to where these people went. Well, the lands were already created, but he divided the lands. That's what it said. The earth was divided. That means the lands were divided. Different people began to speak different languages, so they were in different geographically. They were scattered to different places. So the reason I say that the Tower of Babel and the World Trade Center is connected is because the Twin Towers, or the stock exchange and all of that, is connected to the Tower of Babel, because That's how the world communicate, through the trade center. The World Trade Center is how all the nations, no matter where they are in the world, everybody trade. So just like God confounded their languages, they that's how everybody communicate, through trade. All the nations come together and they trade, and that's how commercialism or capitalism continue, through trade. But what I wanted to show you guys today was how the World Trade Center, the collapse of the World Trade Center, how it's connected to the children of Israel. So when God, um, when the when I'm getting comments, you can manage it. It says swipe to the right. Swipe to become a super fan. Oh, what's wrong? Okay. So guys, I'm pretty much kind of trying to see what you guys are saying and to also keep going on this video. Uh-oh, something happened. So, like I said, I'm trying to connect the World Trade Center to the Tower of Babel, and I'm doing that by showing you when the Tower of Babel was attacked and those planes went into the White House and all those things. Those things was, they say that this actually happened. Um, the Arabs actually came in and drove those planes into those places, but I do know for a fact that God had a lot to do that. On the other day, I made a, well, let's see, what's today? Thursday. On Tuesday and on yesterday, I made videos showing you how God is over everything, how God is a sovereign God, and how He has power over everything, and He controls everything, everything having to do with man, animal, everything. His power is sovereign. I mean, He's all power. He's omnipotent. He's all knowing. So when those towers came down, I truly believe those were the hands of God that brought those towers down. He may have used somebody else to do it. The arrows may have done it on account of the power of God. God used them to do it. But I know for a fact that those towers came down because of the trading. And people doesn't know that the children of Israel served as slaves for 400 years, and those the Twin Towers in New York was a part of that. The Trade Center was a part of that, because they were being traded on the through their birth certificate. As a part of the Trade Center, birth certificates were being traded on the stock market, known as chattel or chattel. Yeah, that's what they used to. That's the term they used to trade, chattel. So I believe that that was God's way of beginning His judgment on the earth, because He said after the 400 years of servitude for the children of Israel that He would begin to judge the nations or the people that kept them in captivity. And in the book of Daniel 7:25, it says, and it said, and he will speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and to think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and dividing of times. That's the, that verse describes a powerful figure who speaks blasphemy against God, persecuted his people, and attempts to alter times and laws, holding God's people captive for a specific, uh, specific time or perceived time and times and dividing of time before the judgment be taken away, before the divine judgment takes away His power. So that right there is just saying that verse is saying how the people who held God's children captive were the ones that are the ones that God is going to judge during this time. Like it says, where it says they would be, they would kind of try to change the times and the laws, and God's children will be given in their hands a time, and a dividing of time, meaning at a certain time that God's going to come forth and begin His judgment on these people that has had His people captive. So that time is right now. That time is going on right now. But the time during when the World Trade Center was when it collapsed, or when all of those things happened on September 11th, that was God beginning that judgment against those nations, or against those people that have held His people captive. Now, it says that September 11 happened in 2001. You see what I said? It said they was going to change times and laws, and those people who held His people captive changed time. They tried to change times and laws by the calendar, and they tried to change the laws through their legal system, creating their own laws. So we know that that's why I'm saying that God began to judge the nations on September 11th, 2001. It was actually 2000, because the time had been thrown off by a year because of them changing the time, or the calendar. And also, with that being said, the nation Israel, the children Israel, were in captivity. The first slave was sold on the auction block in um 1619. The first slave was sold 1619, and the end of the captivity of the children of Israel was 2019. God said in the book of Genesis that they were going, that He told Abram, He said, your children, let me read it to you. It says Genesis 15:13 through 16, and it says, let's go there. It says, He told Abram, 13, let's start with 13. It says, and He said unto Abram, know of a surety that thy seed shall be strangers in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. And also the nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterward shall they come out with great substance. 15 says, and thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace, thou shalt be buried in a good old age. And it says, Genesis 15:16 says, but in the fourth generation they shall come hither again, for the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet full. So God said, He's saying that the iniquity, He's saying that He told Abraham that his children would go into slavery, and they would serve a nation for 400 years. And that nation whom they serve, God said after that 400-year period is over, He will afflict that nation. He's gonna not afflict them. He said He's gonna judge them. We were afflicted. He said He's gonna judge them. He said we will come out with great substance. He also told Abraham that he would go to his fathers in a good old right age. And He said, 16 says, and He said in the fourth generation, He said they will come back hither again, because the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet full. That He's saying that the Abraham's seed would come back to God in the fourth generation. 4 generations is 400 years. He's saying after their slavery, 400 years, they will come back to Him, and He's going to redeem them as His people. He's going to make sure that He told Abraham, He said that he would go to his fathers in peace. He's reassuring Abraham that in the fourth generation that his children will come back to him, to God, and God will redeem them as His people. He will also judge that nation, or the nation of people that put them in captivity. So family, what I'm trying to show you guys right now is that's what's going on. God is judging those nations, or that nation that has afflicted His people for 400 years. His judgment began in 2000. He was just giving us a glimpse. The World Trade Center and the collapse of the World Trade Center and those planes going into the White House was an example of what He was going to do when He got ready to fully judge those people. Now, let's go to the book of Revelations, where it says it talks about the trumpets being blown, and it talks about after every trumpet that's being blown, what will happen when those trumpets are blown. I said, let's go to Revelations, because right now, like I said, God is judging the nations. Donald Trump became president again. I was kind of telling people from from the time that all the controversy was going on with Donald Trump until now that Donald Trump, well, when he was elected, I was telling everybody before he even became president again that he would become president because his name, Trump, Donald Trump, is symbolic for the trumpet sounding in the last days in the book of Revelations, chapters 8 through 11. And through those trumpets, God is going to judge these people. He's judging the nations that kept his people enslaved. In the book of Revelation, it's like yeah, Trump. The name Donald means world ruler. Trump is symbolic for the trumpet sounding in the last days. God will use Donald Trump to bring the judgment to these people. That's why the video, like I was saying, I made the video on yesterday and the day before because I was telling you guys how God is sovereign and he has all power and every man is under his power. Everything, every man, God is over all. He's ruler over all, even Donald Trump. And I made a video that says that. And it's showing you and it's telling you in that video that Donald Trump is doing the works of God. Nothing he's doing, he's not doing anything on his own. No, he's not. Everything that he's doing, he's being ordered by God. It has been set, it was set up from the beginning that Donald Trump would rule in this last day so he could do the work of God. Our people are so upset with Donald Trump, and we have no reason to be because Donald Trump is only doing what he's ordered to do. And if you really pay attention, Donald Trump is not doing anything to hurt the so-called African Americans or the children of God. He's not hurting us anyway. Actually, he's shutting down a lot of things that's going to draw us closer to God because that's what God is using him to do. We're so caught up in all of these programs like the health, their Medicaid, Medicare, all these programs that's giving us incentives or free this and free that, and we so used to depending on those programs, we don't even see God in the midst of anything. We don't even see his face. We don't even see him because we acknowledge all of these things like welfare, food stamps. We so caught up in that we don't even give God no glory for doing all of these things for us. We mad at Trump because we think that he's taken away things from us that we're benefiting from. Those things have always been what have kept us bound. All these programs that we're serving up under and we're using, and we think that they're so good for us, like their medical, all this Medicaid and all of these things, all these programs that we got our children in. We're using these programs, but these programs is the same programs that has always kept us up under the servitude of these people, serving these people. As long as we use their programs, we'll be serving them. And that's what God is so displeased with. He wants us to come away from these programs and turn our faces back to him like our forefathers were. Our forefathers were so dependent on God for everything. And God saved our people through all of our forefathers, all the prophets like Moses. Moses brought the children of Israel out of Egypt because we was being destroyed in Egypt. We was serving as slaves in Egypt. God used Joseph when the people became under, Egypt was up under a famine, and all the children of Jacob or Israel, Jacob who is Israel, when our people had fell into the famine, God used Joseph to bring our people into Egypt so that they can be fed. Esther, God allowed her to marry a Persian, and her uncle Mordecai, he used him to save our people from the Agagites or the Amalekites, who they really are. Amalek are the same people who tried to destroy Israel when God was bringing us out of Egypt. God used Joshua to bring the children to the end of to the city of Jericho to take the city so that God can give them all the lands. God used Samson to destroy the Philistines or to fight against the Philistines. All of those prophets, all of those people that God used, he used Mary to bring about his son, Jesus, so that he can save us from our sins and all the evil that we had done. And so that we can be redeemed back to our Father God at this time. And Jesus is the one that's getting ready to bring the judgment against these nations who have kept God's children captive. So family, what I'm trying to show you guys in this video is who God has how God has worked for the children of Israel. And I made a video showing you guys who the children of Israel are today, this very day. And it says the video that I made, and it's on TikTok and it's also on my YouTube channel. And it says the 12 tribes of Israel, or the seed of Jacob, the chosen people of God, the true chosen people of God. And I told you who they are not, and I told you who they are, who their mothers were, and what their names meant when they were born. One thing about God is when you are favored by God, God names your children for you. And those names, every name that our children has a meaning. And I know for a fact that God gave me my children name, and their names are mean so much. And by their names is their blessing. Just like when God told Abraham again, like he told him in Genesis, we were going to go in slavery. He told Abraham also in Genesis chapter 17 that his son Isaac, Sarah, his wife, thought she couldn't have kids, so she gave her concubine or her handmaid to Abraham to have a son, which was Ishmael. But Ishmael wasn't the chosen seed. Isaac was. Isaac, Ishmael was circumcised at the same time. The covenant or the promise was being made for Isaac. And and God used Isaac's name. Isaac means to laugh, because Sarah laughed and she told God she didn't laugh. But she laughed because she was stunned at the fact that God had told her that she would be able to have a child, and that child would be the promised child, not Ishmael. He said he would make princes of Ishmael, but kings would come from Isaac, because he told Abraham, he said, and Sarah, that kings would come from them, and those kings would come through Isaac, the children of Jacob. Isaac had two sons, Esau and Jacob. Jacob was the one that was chosen. Esau sold his birthright to Jacob, and then Jacob took the blessing because God put it in his heart, him and his mother's heart, to take the blessing. So, in any time you get a birthright, anytime the birthright fall on you, the blessing automatically comes with it. Esau was upset with Jacob because he said Jacob supplanted him for the blessing, but the blessing was going to be Jacob's anyway. And Jacob, who wrestled with the angel of God, the angel changed his name to Israel. He became Israel through wrestling with God. He saw God. He said he saw God, and he was favored. God favored him. So guess what? So that's why his children are called the children of Israel, not the Israelis, but the Israelites. Those are Jacob's children. And the people of Israel, the country Israel, all these years have fooled everybody saying that they are Israel, but they're not. They're Israelis. We're the Israelites. They're Jewish. We're Jew. Ish means similar to or want to be like, but not. Israelites are the true people of God. Yes, the true children of God. And I gave you guys a breakdown. The African Americans is the tribe of Judah, the first son of Jacob, the fourth son of Jacob. Let me show you something else. The World Trade Center, yeah, the movie of The Wizard of Oz. I did a video on the movie The Wizard of Oz. When you go into the Bible and you look and you read where it talks about the breastplate of Aaron, the Levites, where the breastplate of the priesthood, they made an ephod, and on that ephod they made a breastplate, and on that breastplate they had 12 stones, and each stone represents one of the tribes of Israel. That fourth stone is the stone of Judah, the African American. That stone is green for emerald. It's the Emerald City, and the movie of The Wizard of Oz represents the Trade Center. Yes, it does. Oz represents the United States. The Wizard of Oz is the president of the United States. People, I'm trying to break this thing down to you because we've been deceived for so long into not even knowing who we are. At this time, it is so important that we know who we are, because God is bringing about this judgment on the earth. So and judging the nations who kept you in captivity, but you won't know who you are. If you don't know who you are, you don't know what God is doing. He said he was going to unscatter us at this time from the four corners, the north, the south, the east, and the west portions of the world. Now, the Northwest is the United States. The United States has been called the North, and it has also been called the West. The East, we know the Arabs, the all the other nation. Well, it's only really one nation of people, two nations of people. It's only two nations of people, and that became so after Jacob and Esau were born. Either you fall up under Jacob, which is the 12 tribes, or you fall up under Esau, who are the clans, and that's all the other people. And that's where we remember we was talking about the dividing of the earth, how the languages were confound, and God divided the nations. He divided the earth, and everybody, he sent everybody to the land of their language. And if you notice, most of all the other people are over in the east. Yes. Everybody, this is how you know who the so-called African Americans are. Emerald City, Emerald, that fourth stone, Judah. The word Jew comes from Judah. Jewish is those people who are posing as the true Jew. Yes, Jewish. Remember I said it means similar to, but not. Yeah. So, family, I want to show you what God say about the people who are pretending to be the true Jew. I'm going to show you in the book of Revelations. Well, I'm going to read to you in the book of Revelations where God say that he know who the true Jew is and who's posing as the true Jew. So it says in the book of Revelations 2:9, it says, I know thy works and tribulations and poverty, but thou art rich. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but of the synagogue of Satan. See, we know the synagogue is where the Jewish nation, where they worship. So what he said right there, he said they are of the synagogue of Satan. So we know that the true Jew serves God. He said they say they are a Jew, but they are not. He said, but they do. Look, he said, I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. We have not blasphemed God. And I read to you also where it says in the book of Daniel, chapter 7, verse 26, 25, Daniel 7 and 25, where it says they will blaspheme the Most High. There it is right there. He said the blasphemy of those who say they are a Jew but are not. They blaspheme. They ridicule him. They ridicule his name. And when they blaspheme him also, they saying that in doing so, they're bringing down his people. They curse his people. See, so when they curse his people, they also curse him, blasphemy. And then it says it also in Revelation 3. That was Revelation 2 and 9. This is what it says in Revelation 3 and 9. It says, behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee. See, we are the true Jew. Judah. We are the true Jew. They have, the Israelis have claimed to be the Jew by saying they're Jewish. They claim to be Israel by saying they're Israelis. See, they did that by saying they are the seed of Shem. They are Abraham's seed. But we know that they were Abraham's seed. God said Abraham will be the father of many nations, of many people. And most nations come from Abraham. But the Bible also say that they have not been enslaved to any man. They say they have never been enslaved to any man. But we have. We've been in captivity to these people for 400 years. So that right there show you, it tells you when God said in Genesis 15:13, he said that we were going to go into captivity and we was going to serve these people for 400 years. They can't say, the Israelis or the Jewish people can't say that they have served any man. They say it in the Bible. I can't remember what scripture, but it says that they have Jesus. They spoke to Jesus and told him, say, we are Abraham's seed, but we have never been enslaved to any man. So you can look up those words and find that scripture. So they can't say they are the true Jew, and they can't say that they're the real Israel, because they have not been enslaved to any man. They made slaves. We were enslaved to them. Yeah. And God's, those people on those lands over there, those lands, they have suffered so bad on those lands. But that suffering comes because they claim to be a people who they are not. So family, what I'm showing you guys right now is how God is judging the earth. If you pay attention, everything is collapsing. And Jesus said that those things will happen of the time of his coming. Let me see. He says it in, let me see, where he says the time of his coming. I know he mentions his time of his coming in the book of Luke. He mentions it in Matthew, and he mentions it also in Mark. And he tells us of all the things that are going to happen. He said false prophets are going to rise. He said there's going to be war, rumors of wars. He said it's going to be famine. He says nations against nations and kingdoms against kingdoms. Pay attention. All of those nations over there are warring against each other. Nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom. They're fighting against their own people. They're fighting. See, and these are the things that Jesus warned that would happen upon his return. Yes, that's what he said. He said when all of these things were going to happen, he said when he's false prophets, we got so many people who these people who have posed as false prophets did it to keep Israel confused and bound. You got preachers, ministers, pastors who never told the true Israelites or the true people of God who they really are. Couldn't do it because they served under these churches. They served under the Vatican. They served under Rome. And by serving under Rome, they couldn't tell you the truth. It wasn't allowed for them to tell you the truth. In the Bible, in the book of Matthew, it talks about God saying, no man can serve two masters. You can't serve God and mammon, meaning you can't serve God and money or God in the world, because you're going to love one and you're going to hate the other one, or you're going to take to one and you're going to forget about the other one. See, God said you can't serve God and mammon. You can't serve God in this world too. You either going to serve one or the other. See, and that's what these pastors have done. These preachers and all these people who have been teaching you, the so-called teaching you the word of God, has never really given you the truth, because if they never told you that you were the true children of Israel, or if they never told you who you really are, everything else has been a lie. Blasphemy. Yeah. So family, I'm just trying to get you guys to see that God is showing us, and we just got to be more. He says, be sober and watchful. We got to be more watchful of the things that are going on around us, the things that are taking place, and what God is doing for us as a people. See, we're not paying attention. We so caught up into all these things going on in the world, trying to help this world survive. It's not God's plan for this world to survive, because his plan is for his son to come and bring judgment to this place. The book of 2 Corinthians 5:10 says, we shall all go before the judgment seat of Christ and be judged according to what we did in these bodies, whether it was good or evil. So when Jesus brings that judgment, he's bringing the judgment to these people for the evil that they did to his descendants. See, the children of Israel are Jesus' descendants, especially the tribe of Judah, because that's the tribe he was born under. Joseph, Mary, Judah. That's the tribe. See, Obed, Jesse, David. See, that's the tribe Judah came from. And Jesus was born under that same lineage. It's all in the book. So Jesus, so let me share something with you guys. The book of Matthew is the book of the last book of the Old Testament. The book of Malachi, I'm sorry, let's get it right. Switch that around. Malachi is the last book of the Old Testament. Matthew is the first book of the New Testament. In between those books, it was a 400-year space in between those books. When Malachi ended and Matthew began, it was a 400-year period between those two books. That 400-year period is symbolic for the time that the children of Israel would be in captivity. 400 years between Malachi and Matthew. Now, when you go to the book of Matthew and you read the first chapter, I think it's verses 16 through 18. It tells you about, let me show you what it says about Abraham, David, and Jesus. Listen to what it says. It says, I'm going to start at verse 16. 16 says, and Jacob begat Joseph, the husband of Mary, of whom was born Jesus, who is called Christ. 17 says, so all the generations from Abraham to David are 14 generations, and from David until the carrying away into Babylon are 14 generations. And from the carrying away into Babylon unto Christ are 14 generations. And 18 says, now the birth of Jesus Christ was on the wise. When his mother Mary was espoused to Joseph, before they came together, she was found with child of the Holy Ghost. See? You see that? It's showing you Jesus was getting ready to be born in the book of Matthew, which I said between Malachi and Matthew was 400-year period. Jesus was born. The beginning of Matthew, the first chapter, talks about Jesus being born. See? So that lets you know right there, Jesus's birth was to come to save the children of Israel from dying when they go into captivity, from being destroyed as a nation, being destroyed as a people, one of the tribes of the nation of Israel. Yeah, that's what Jesus was being born for, to come save us. He was being sacrificed for the children of Israel. That's why the Passover is so significant, because Jesus is the sheep. He's symbolic for the Lamb of God, the Son of God. He's symbolic for the Lamb. So when the children of Israel, right before they got ready to come out of, God was getting ready to bring them out of bondage in Egypt, they had the Passover, which is symbolic for Jesus. And that's why the blood, it told you, is when they killed the lamb, they had to take the blood and put it over the doorpost. Because that blood was symbolic for Jesus. And God, that the death angel, when he came through, he passed over all the children of Israel that had the blood on the doorpost. But he killed every man, every animal, everything living in Egypt. No. I take that back. He killed the firstborn when he came through there. Yeah. And look at this too. Jesus' birth. Now, when Jesus was born, they said Mary put him in a manger. A manger is a bed for a sheep. We know Jesus wasn't born on Christmas or during Christmas, because it says the shepherds were out tending their flock. He was born in the spring. Let me show you how you know he was born in the spring. Because all new life was being born. All new, everything was being birthed. New trees, new grass, and Jesus' birth, born. Everything new was being born, or given life. Life was being given to everything. New life. And Jesus was that new life. The shepherds tending their flock. Jesus is also known as the shepherd to us. We're his sheep. See, it's so much symbolism in that. So yeah, it's so important, guys, that you guys y'all got to get this Bible and start reading. so that you guys can know what God is doing right now at this time. But my thing today was for me to come on and show you guys that God is bringing about judgment to this world, bringing it down for what they did to his children. See, when I say world, I'm talking about Satan's time of rule. Now, in the beginning, when Adam transgressed, he gave his life expectancy over to Satan, who was the serpent at that time. Adam was supposed to live to be 1,000 years old, but he only lived to be 930 years old, meaning he gave his life, the duration of his life, he gave it over to the devil to rule for 1,000 years. The devil ruled 1,000 years. The world was given, this world, Adam's world was given to the serpent to rule for 1,000 years when Adam transgressed. God told Adam in the beginning, he said, when he created Adam, he put him in the garden and he told him not to eat of the fruit of that tree of the knowledge of good and evil. He told him, he said, the day that you do, you shall surely die. Adam had to die, even though he didn't die till he was 930 years old. God gave Satan a whole 1,000 years to rule. Satan ruled 1,000 years because he was given Adam's life. Yeah. Adam was the first man who God gave dominion over all living, everything living. When God brought every beast, every creature, he brought them to Adam. He brought everything to Adam, and Adam named it. All the trees, all the animals, bugs, everything that fly, everything that crawl, Adam gave everything a name. And he was over all living, everything living. But when he transgressed, he gave all his power, all his dominion over to the angel of death, which was the serpent. So everything that the serpent did brought about death. This whole 1,000 years, everything he did was to bring about death. That's why you got sickness, diseases, you got all of these plagues, you got all of these things, this whole system of illness, all sickness and diseases, all this whole beast system was set up by the devil to bring about death. That's why Jesus had to be born, because Jesus is life. Jesus brought about life to the death that Adam brought upon us. That's why now at this time, Jesus got to come to destroy death. That's the judgment that's coming. The world, like I said, the world is Satan. So Jesus got to come to destroy the world by bringing Satan down. That's what this time is for, right? That's what's happening right now. That's why all your government, everything is collapsing, everything is falling, because all of that is considered the world. Now, I made a video, and in that video, it says the earth and the world is not the same thing. The earth is the land upon which we live. The earth is the way we live, the way that we have lived, the things that we have done in these bodies throughout time. That's why we all got to go before the judgment seat of Christ. Remember when I said that these bodies, that all the good and the evil that we did in these bodies, Jesus is about to judge. That's why I said 2 Corinthians 5 and 10 says we all must go before the judgment seat of Christ. To be judged according to what we did in these bodies, whether it was good or bad. And we know everything that the devil did, or Satan, or the serpent, because he got many names. And I made a video showing you that he got many names and how we worship him under these names, not even knowing it. Yeah. So, family, we got to understand. We need to pay attention. The book of Revelations, I think it's 18. It says the book of 18, Revelations 18. I think it starts at, let's see, Revelations 18 and 3, I think it is. And it tells us to come out of her, my people. Let me show you what it says. Revelations 18, it says, Revelations 18 and 3 said, well, let's start with 2. It said, and he cried mightily with a strong voice. This is the angel that blew. Let's go to 18 and 1. It says, and after these things, I saw another angel come down from heaven saying, having great power and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hole of every foul spirit, and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird. That's a beast. It says, 3 says, For all the nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. And 4 says, and I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sin, and that ye receive not of her plagues. 5 says, For her sins have reached unto heaven, and God hath remembered her iniquities. 6 says, Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her, double according to her works. In the cup which she hath filled, fill her double. See, those verses right there. God said Babylon is fallen. The, the United States has been known as Babylon. And that's what God is saying. He said Babylon is fallen. And he telling us, he said that Babylon has become so wicked. This place has become so wicked. It says it's under the, what it says? It says it has become the habitation of devils and in the whole of every foul spirit, meaning all the evil. It has become so wicked and so evil. And it's fallen because he's destroyed it. And he's saying to us in verse 3, he says, Come out of her, my people, be not partakers of her sin, because her sin has reached heaven. His people are the children of Israel. He telling us, quit taking part in all the evil that they're doing in the wickedness of this world. Come out of it. Turn back to him. Be not partakers in this wickedness that's going on. Because guess what? It has reached him and he sees it. He knows what's going on. And for us to come out gives us a chance to survive and enter into his kingdom when Jesus destroyed this wicked place. That's what he's saying. What I say in Genesis 15 and 16, he says, For in the 4th generation they shall come hither again. What I say, he said, when he said hither, he's saying come back to him. He said we're going to be redeemed back to him as his people. Jesus did that. Jesus gave us a chance of going of life again. Jesus gave us a chance again to serve our Father. Yeah. Jesus redeemed us through his death, through his bloodshed, sacrificing for us. Yeah. Jesus sacrificed for us. Yeah. When he died, see, Jesus didn't come to save the whole world. That's been a lie. Jesus didn't come to save the whole world. Jesus came to save us, the children of Israel, from the world. Yeah. I think it's in Matthew where the woman whose daughter was vexed, she was vexed. Her daughter was vexed by the devil, and she came to Jesus and she asked him to save her daughter because she'd been vexed to the devil. But the disciples told Jesus to send her away. She seek after them. And Jesus didn't say a word. And she told him, she said, my daughter is vexed with the devil. He told her, he said, it is not meet that he shall give that which is holy unto dogs, or which the food. He was saying he can't give what he came to do for the children of Israel. He can't give it to her because she was a Canaanite. She was an Egyptian. She was not one of our people. He was telling her he can't give her that because she was not one of us. He said, I can't get that which is holy unto dogs. She said, even dogs eat the crumbs that falls from the master's table. She said, even she wants what Jesus got. She knew who he was. She believed in him. And guess what? He told her, he said, woman, be as thou wilt, because of your faith. She had faith. She had more faith in Jesus than our people. So he said, if you wish for your daughter to be healed, he said, be as you will, be as thou wish. And her daughter was made whole because she believed in Jesus. But Jesus was telling her he told her, he said, he came to save the lost sheep, which is the house of Israel. only came to save the children of Israel. He didn't come to save the world. If he came to save the world, God wouldn't have gave Adam's dominion over to Satan. He wouldn't have gave Adam's world over to the devil. If Jesus came to save the whole world, Jesus only came to save a people. He didn't come to save the whole world. He only came to save one people, the house of Israel. That's why God chose us as his people. The children of Israel is God's chosen people. Jesus came to save only those people. He didn't come save everybody, the whole world. He didn't come save the world. The world is the ones who have been against the children of Israel. Let me show you what God say he chose us as his people and why. Let's go to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 6, verse 7. Let's see, 7. Let's go. It says, Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 6. I'm gonna start at verse 6. And I may read on, but yeah, I may read on from 6. I think I'm gonna read on from 6 to 12, but we'll see. It says, For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God has chosen thee to be a special people unto himself. He said thee meaning one people, thee to be a special people unto himself, above all the people that are upon the face of the earth. The Lord did not set his love upon you, nor choose you, because you were more in number than any people, for ye were the fewest of all people. But because the Lord loved you, and because he would keep the oath which he had sworn unto your fathers, had the Lord brought you out with a mighty hand and redeemed. Let me repeat that word, redeemed. That's what Jesus came to do, redeem. He said, redeemed you out of the house of bondmen from the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. Now therefore that the Lord thy God, he is God, the faithful God, which keepeth covenant and mercy with them that love him and keep his commandment to 1,000 generations. You hear that number? 1,000 generations. That 1,000 is talking about the serpent, the Satan, the devil. 1,000 generations. That's what he said. He talking about 1,000 generations. All that time, he said. That's what he said. He said, as long as we keep his commandments, he said he'll keep us. He said what it say about the covenant. It said, which keepeth covenant and mercy. Covenant is talking about his commandments, his statutes, and the people that he blessed are the ones to keep those statutes and commandments. His commandments. See, we've been so deceived. The one he said, the nation of the synagogue, the Jewish nation. See, what they did was they took the 10 commandments and they call it what they call it, the Torah. That's the first 5 books of the Bible: Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. Those first 5 books are the laws of God, the 10 commandments. They changed it and called it the Torah. The Torah is their book. The Torah is what they created. The commandments is what God gave us. Those 5 books of laws, those 5, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy, is what God told us to abide by when we went into captivity. If we had kept those laws, we never would have gone into slavery. It is that because we didn't keep those commandments is what sent us into captivity. We fell under the ways of all these other people, and we wanted to serve their gods rather than our God. Because God chosen us, we're considered the saints of God. We're considered the people of God. We're considered the ones that those commandments was handed down to keep us from falling into evil and wickedness. But we didn't. And we also, and I'm going to show you in the book of Samuel, I think it's 1 Samuel chapter 8, where it talks about, because we fell up under these people and we wanted to live like these people, we told God told Samuel, when Samuel got old and was ready to die, we told Samuel that we wanted a king. Yeah. So family, because we wanted to Okay. So family, I only got a few more minutes on this video. Okay. Drag the puzzle into place. What? Oh my God, what are they doing? All right. Oops. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Ah! Come back. So family, yeah, it's time for me to kind of end this live because I've been going on and on. But I wanted to show you guys that what God did in the book of First Samuel chapter 8 and how this was what happened to us when we went into captivity. Chapter 8 says, let's start at verse 1. And it said, it came to pass when Samuel was old that he made his son judges over Israel. Now the name of his firstborn was Joel, and the name of the second was Abiah. They were judges in Beersheba. And his son walked not in his ways, but turned aside after lucre, and took bribes and perverted judgment. Then all the elders of Israel gathered themselves together and came to Samuel unto Ramah, and said unto him, Behold, thou art old, and thy sons walk not in thy ways. Now make us a king to judge us like all the nations. But the thing displeased Samuel when they said, Give us a king to judge us. And Samuel prayed unto the Lord, and the Lord said unto Samuel, Hearken unto the voice of the people, and all that they say unto thee, for they have not rejected you, but they have rejected me, that I should not reign over them. 8 says, According to all the works which they had done since the day that I brought them up out of Egypt, even unto this day wherewith they have forsaken me and served other gods, so they also unto thee. 9 says, Now therefore hearken unto their voices, howbeit yet protest solemnly unto them, and show them the manner of the king that shall reign over them. God is telling him to show these people that when they because they want a king, these are the things that's going to happen to them. God told Samuel, he said, they ain't rejecting you, they rejecting me as my people. They don't want to serve God, they want to serve under all these other nations. So look what's going to happen to them when they get a king. God said, hearkening to them, he said, listen to them, give them what they want. He said, but tell them this before you give them a king. He said, and Samuel told all the words of the Lord unto the people that asked of him a king. And he said, This will be the manner of the king that shall reign over you. He will take your sons and appoint them for himself, for his chariot, and to be his horsemen, and some shall run before his chariot. They gonna serve him in war. They gonna be his soldiers. That's the United States, the army, the military. Our people are serving in this military. We have no business because guess what? God we supposed to be serving God, not this military. Said, and he will appoint them captains over thousands and captains over fifties, and will set their ear to the ground, and to reap his harvest, and to make his instruments of war instruments of his chariots. They gonna do all of these things for him. He ain't gonna do nothing. They gonna do it for him. This is how we gonna serve him in his military. We gonna put our ear to the ground. We gonna tell him all the things, that's all the evil that's gonna come with him, and we gonna fight for him. Yep. It says, and he will take your daughters to be confectioners, and to be cooks, and to be bakers. We're going to be maids, bakers, cooking their food, feeding them, taking care of their families. And he will take your fields and your vineyards and your olive yards, even the best of them, and give them to his servant. He going to take everything that God has blessed us with. He said our vineyards, our wine vineyards, our olive yards, he said all of our land. He going to take it He gonna give it to his people, his servants. And it says, and he will take the tenth of your seed and your vineyards and give to his officers and his servants. He gonna pay them a tenth of whatever it is he take from you. And it says, he will take your men servant and your maid servants and your goodliest young men and your asses and put them to work. You gonna till his ground. You gonna do all the works for him. This God is showing you you're gonna be a slave to this man, to this king that you want, that you gonna serve over him. And said he would take he and you shall cry out in that day, because your king which ye shall have chosen you, and the Lord will not hear you in that day. Nevertheless, the people refused to obey the voice of Samuel, and they said, nay, but we will have a king over us. So, yep, y'all chose these people to rule over you. Our forefathers chose these people. They wanted a king so bad. They wanted to be like the other nations. And they had it so much better than these other nations, but they wasn't satisfied until God allowed them a king. And then he said they gonna cry out to him, but he ain't gonna hear them. And that's what happened to us these 400 years. He wouldn't even send his prophets to us, to tell us the things that was going. But he did send his son Jesus. But we had to still serve that servitude. We had to still do that slavery. We still had to do that time, because that's what he told Adam. He told Adam that you're gonna surely die. And he gave the devil Adam's time for 1,000 years. So we had to suffer 1,000 years. But the children of Israel had to suffer these last 400 years. So family, I thank you guys for visiting my video. And I hope I have been enlightening to you guys. So with that being said, I thank you for visiting my video, and I'll see you on the next one. Let's see. I'll end this. Yep. Mm-mm. Let's see. How can we end it? Oh yeah. Oh, they about to cut my video off, so I'm just gonna end it myself. Thank you guys for visiting my video. I appreciate all that you guys have done. It said I got 1,233 people following me in this video. 415 followers. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. I'm gonna create more videos. I'm gonna make more videos. I just right now God has um this is my job. This is what I do. This is how I serve God, making videos and teaching you guys of the truth. That's what he chose me to do at this time. So yeah. Thank you guys so much for visiting my video. Thank you guys so much for hearing his word. Thank you guys for letting me give you guys, thank you guys so much for letting me give you guys some truth. And I appreciate if you guys just go through my TikTok, view my videos, because they're all about the truth, what God has set up. I would appreciate if you guys go and visit some of my YouTube videos too, because they all about the truth. Yes, they're all about the truth. So I thank you guys so much for visiting my video, and I'll see you next time. Let me see him. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. What happened? Mm. Trying to figure out how to end this video, guys. Are you kidding me?